Hi, this is Craig Stocks here talking about PiMagic Studio, and we're now going to focus on the astroMagic for Photoshop tools. But before we get into the details, let's have a little bit of Photoshop 101 to look at some of the basic features that we'll be using in Photoshop. The first thing I want to look at is just how the workspace is organized and how you can organize it to best fit your workflow and the tools you use most often. So if we look at the workspace, in the center of the Photoshop workspace is the image canvas. So this is pretty obvious. That's the picture that you're working on. And then all the other tools that you might use are around the outside. So one of the key features of Photoshop is its ability to work with layers. And so the layers palette becomes one of the most important tools to have visible all the time. Now, the way I have my workspace organized, it's based on a standard organization that comes with Photoshop called Essentials. And once we talk about the different pieces, we'll actually go to Photoshop and look at how you can create that and organize the tools. Basically, any tool can be placed anywhere on the screen, and then you can save that arrangement as your preferred workspace. So the lower right, I have the layers palette, and this is used just pretty much continuously as you're editing. So it's something that you want available all the time as you're working. Above that, at the top of the right-hand panel, I have the properties panel. The properties panel serves multiple purposes, and it depends on what's currently selected in the layers palette. So if you have selected an adjustment layer, for instance, it will show you the properties or the current settings of that adjustment layer. In this example, there's a levels adjustment layer, so the properties of that levels adjustment, or in other words, how the levels input and output are adjusted for brightness and contrast, are shown in the properties panel. If you happen to click on a mask, which would be in this case, the little white tab to the right, then it would show the properties of the mask rather than the properties of the adjustment layer. So you can see the properties of whatever layer is selected, and then within that layer, whether you have selected the icon for the adjustment or the image or the mask that goes along with it. I've mentioned adjustments, and in the middle I typically keep the adjustments palette. This is probably the third most commonly used feature in Photoshop, and it's really the key to non-destructive editing, and that's the ability to add adjustment layers rather than actually adjusting an image and changing the brightness of the individual pixels. You apply an adjustment layer, which doesn't change the underlying pixels, it just changes how they're processed and shown to you on the screen. And then ultimately, if you create, for instance, a JPEG from your image, then those would be applied when it creates that JPEG. And we'll talk more about that as we go along. But this organization on the right-hand side gives me quick access to the three most commonly used tools in Photoshop. Now, over on the left-hand side, we have the toolbar, and there are a whole host of tools that you might use. Cropping is a tool, a paintbrush, which you might use for painting on a mask to hide or reveal certain areas. Those are two of the most commonly used tools. There's other selection and move and repair tools that you may use. So it's handy to always have this toolbar visible on the left-hand side, and it doesn't take up much screen real estate. The palettes over on the right-hand side, these are individual tools or palettes that are found under the Window menu option, and they can be either free-floating or you can dock them over here on the right-hand side, and then they're available anytime you want to click on them to have them jump out. The History palette is one that you might use frequently. I like to keep my astroMagic palette docked over there so it's readily available but not always on the screen. There's a couple others that you might use, but those are probably the two most common. And then lastly, up at the top, we have the Workspaces setting. This is where you can select Essentials as your workspace, And then if you make adjustments and move things around, you might want to save that as your workspace. And then anytime you need to reload that for some reason, if you move stuff around and it gets confused, you can always go back to your saved workspace arrangement anytime you want. So let's hop over into Photoshop and actually look at some of this in action. So again, here is the image window. On the right hand side I have the layers palette. In the middle we have the adjustments palette, and then at top we have properties. Now any of these can be adjusted for size. So if I hover over, for instance, this boundary between the layers palette and the adjustments layer, you'll see that the cursor turns to an up-down arrow. So I can use that to adjust the size of the layers palette if I need to make it taller. Most of the time the adjustments that I'm going to use are in the top row, so I even will move this up so that the others are hidden. If I need to see more, I can scroll down within that adjustments palette. At the top, as I mentioned, we have the properties, and whatever I click on, so for instance if I click on this levels adjustment layer, these are the settings that are applied in this levels adjustment layer. And if I want to change the brightness, so if this is a global adjustment and it's applying levels, which is brightness and contrast, if I want to change the overall brightness of the image, I might move the center slider left and right. And it's important to note I'm not changing the image, I'm just changing how the image looks. And then if I save this as a JPEG, for instance, export it as a JPEG, then all of that gets applied in that derivative file. In the center we have various palettes. The bottom one here is the Astrophotography palette, and as I mentioned, it can be free floating. In other words, I can pull it out, move it around. If I have multiple screens, I could put it on the other monitor. And then if I want to put it back in place here, when I drag, and this is true of pretty much anything that you're organizing, when I drag it over, you'll see some blue lines or arrows or squares appear. That shows me where it's going to be docked if I let go of the mouse at this time. So if I wanted to put it in the stack, but between these two items, it would go there. I want to put it at the bottom, so I'll move to the bottom where the blue square shows, let go of the mouse, and now it's docked right here, and I can open it or put it away, just whatever, if I need to access a tool or if I just want it moved out of the way. At the top is where, and this is at the very top right, you may not even be able to see it on the screen, but this is where I could choose, like I have saved Craig's Essentials, which is basically this arrangement, and then if anytime I've moved stuff around or it becomes disturbed, I can always go back and reload Craig's Essentials. And the way you do that is just by clicking on New Workspace, give it a name, and then it will save as your workspace, whatever you've named it. So that's kind of an overall view. Two other items I'll mention at the very top is the menu bar. That's fairly obvious, fairly standard. In the middle between the image and the toolbar is the options bar. And what shows on the option bar depends on what you've chosen from the tools. So think of this as the options that are available for the selected tool. So for instance, if I select the crop tool, then in the options bar I have the option of setting, for instance, so if I want to crop to a 16:9 aspect ratio, but this options bar will show appropriate options for whatever tool is selected in the toolbar. And then lastly we have tabs. Right now there's only one file open, so this tab represents the file that's open. I can close that tab or that file from Photoshop by clicking on the X. And if I have multiple files open, which is not unusual, then I would have multiple tabs showing along the bar here right above the workspace. So that's kind of an overview of how the workspace and the tools are organized in Photoshop. Next, we'll talk about layers and layer groups in Photoshop.